In order to get something new, we need to do something we've never done before, and that will involve making sacrifices.
However, a lot of the time we'll overplay the sacrifices we need to make in our head and use them as excuses not to start. Let's be clear, we're not saying sacrifice to the detriment of life balance, but contrary to belief, if you don't sacrifice for what you want will be the sacrifice.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. How are you all doing out there today?
Hope you're all well. So today we're going to be talking to you about sacrifices. Now, Claire, how did you come up with this topic?
Well, I think we might be feeling a little bit like we're making a sacrifice. We're leaving Marbella, in just under 2 weeks. And it's really funny, isn't it? We always talk about you can't be comfortable and grow. But I have to say, for quite a long time, because it was a completely new place to us, we didn't know it really at all. I would say it's only been in the last month that we really started to feel comfortable here. And you know what comes with comfort? Security, happiness, all those sorts of things. And I think it feels like a big sacrifice, a big wrench that we are going back to London. Although having said that, we love London.
We do. We're very excited to go back. We do love London. You know, the good weather's coming. We're unlocking back home. Also, we've got some very exciting things happening for us as well professionally. We're working with more and more companies now, delivering employee and corporate wellness, which is fantastic.
We love doing that because we're reaching more people. It's just a really great way to spread the message of health and wellness.
Exactly. And then, of course, as the roadmap eases, we are hoping to be running face-to-face events as well. So back to our retreats, pop-up events, and we've actually put our first UK retreat date out there.
I was going to say, I'm not hoping. We've just released it. So we actually asked people, because we've had people for goodness knows how many months messaging us and emailing us, completely to our surprise, asking us when our next retreat dates are or if we're running them. We actually decided to put together a priority VIP list. It sounds a bit terrible, doesn't it? But like a priority list, so that when those dates went live, they got first dibs at the room. Because actually, we can only take a certain amount of people to make the experience feel really personal and award-winning. We have an award-winning retreats company, so we always wanted to make sure it was really, really personal. So we went live with that.
About 4 hours ago.
About 4 hours ago.
And we're 40% sold out already.
How amazing is that? So it's in the UK, in the most amazing, amazing location, with a good friend of ours, actually. He owns the country estate. It's called Fair Oak Farm. And it's just, uber luxury.
Yeah, we are so excited for this one. It's going to be July, so we're imagining, those lazy summer evenings after a hard day, sweating with workouts and workshops and sitting around the fire pit and swapping tales.
Yeah, with a cheeky glass of wine. It's all about balance, people. So yeah, we've really missed it. It's the same thing for everyone. You never know what you've got until it's gone. And the last time we ran a retreat was just over a year ago, here in Marbella, actually. And we get our energy off of people and connection. We're hardwired as human beings to connect and be part of a community. So actually, we've really missed the one-to-one stuff, haven't we?
We
Massively.
certainly have. We have. But then at the same time, we are so grateful for our online programs and the coaching we get to do with so many people and touching and transforming so many lives. And that was another inspiration for this podcast, because one of the things we said we talk about is, in our Midlife Method transformational program, it's all about how you can get rid of the belly fat, regain control of your life, feel great naked, feel empowered, but without making huge sacrifices. So we thought it'd be great to talk about, what sacrifices people need to make and finding what your appropriate level of sacrifice is. But then it occurred to us as we sat here, so we're going to go on to that in a minute, but we never actually talked about our program. We mentioned it a lot in passing on these podcasts, but effectively we run an 8-week transformational program specifically designed for midlifers. So the exercise and the resting periods designed with the midlife body in mind. You add your hormones, your physiology. There's nutritional coaching that drip feeds through the app that we deliver it all in. And I'd say most importantly, the biggest takeaway people get, apart from amazing results.
I mean, we've had so many incredible results in the last week, haven't we?
Oh, people have lost like 5 kilos, 7 kilos.
Yeah, in about 8 to 8 weeks. Building healthy habits. This is the thing. It's about reinstalling new hardware in the brain. That's our biggest passion, isn't it?
Exactly. So underpinning it all are the mindset modules that we work with people on this, and without a shadow of a doubt, everyone comes in. People usually come in for the physical benefits, wanting to feel fitter, healthier, drop body fat. But what they come away with is like, whoa, my outlook on life has completely shifted. I'm so much more positive. I feel more optimistic about things. I
feel
just
more in
feel
control.
like alive and excited about life. So that's our program in a nutshell. If you'd like to know more,
I'll add because what we do offer in our diary ever so often, we offer a 30-minute free consultation. It's just to have a chat with us. You know us. If you listen to this podcast, we're not scary people. We're literally just there to talk about your goals, talk about some of the challenges you're experiencing, and give you like a bit of a roadmap, even on that 30-minute free consultation. So we already feel a connection with you if you're listening to this, so we would love to connect with you on that call. So I'll put the link in the show notes to that. But I think it's just a really, really important thing to share with you because, we're here. We're chatting away about stuff, and we're giving so much information to you via the podcast, but there's nothing actually like putting it into practice and having the support and accountability of coaches like James and myself that have taken lots of people through the program. And if you want to be one of those people that just even have a chat with us about it, then do book a call.
Exactly.
So the main thing that is part of what we talk about with our clients is the fact that you can live the life you love in a healthy, happy body without making massive sacrifices. But the key thing here is the word massive, because let's be quite honest with you, let's not sugarcoat it. In order to get something new, we need to do something we've never done before. And there's a quote that goes a bit like this: if you don't sacrifice for what you want will be the sacrifice.
I love that. And it's so important to understand. It's like, because people always say, what do you mean by big sacrifice? Oh, could I still drink when I'm doing this?
Yeah.
And of course the answer is yes, but here's the thing. We're all about living your life in balance, we train hard, we play hard, we'll stay dry in the week, maybe have like a couple of drinks at the weekend. But here's the thing, what is a sacrifice to you? Everyone's got a different definition, Could everyone get better results in terms of their actual, just their physiological health if they had a really strictly controlled diet, didn't drink, all that stuff? Yes, but mentally and emotionally, they'd be miserable as hell.
Yeah, it's not what we promote at all.
On the flip side, it's like, I don't want to make any sacrifices. I want to drink 2 bottles of wine every night and half a chocolate cake. Probably that's going to impede your progress as well, and actually also make you unhappy emotionally and mentally. So it's about finding that balance in between, the sweet spot where you don't feel you're going without, but you're loving the way you look and feel. Yeah,
because the truth is, things don't just fall into your lap at all. And sometimes we do need to delay gratification, so to speak. So going back to that quote, if you don't sacrifice what you want will be the sacrifice. And that's going to likely lead you to make choices. You are going to need to make balanced choices. This is important to say. We're not saying sacrifice family, your heart, or your values, or things like that. What we're saying is, you need to make choices when you're faced with a decision that go towards your goal or away from your goal. And you kind of need to look at yourself and ask yourself whether you're ready to sacrifice something now for the achievement of something down the line, which is what I was saying about the delayed gratification. Things don't just fall in your lap. No matter what the world is now telling you, This is so true. The world says, oh, you can have this really quickly. You don't have to, you can drink this skinny tea and then be, a size 6. You can follow this program in business and then have a 7-figure business in 6 months. It's just, without sacrifice, it's just not true. And so many people make so much money on selling you the lie that you don't need to sacrifice anything.
It's so true that it's not true. I mean, I saw someone posting about it today. Another person was like kind of laptop lifestyle, work an hour a day, be a millionaire.
I wonder what you were going to say then.
Just,
laptop.
And it's just rubbish. But we're constantly being sold and pushed these kind of lies. So it leads to us thinking that we can attain everything we want without having to make any form of sacrifice. But of course we do. Here's a first coaching point for you. You take a look at your life now. And how your life is now is a direct reflection of the choices you've made and the sacrifices you are and you aren't prepared to make.
Absolutely. And that's so powerful. Look at your life now. Sometimes it's easier to make sacrifices in certain areas over others. I mean, health is one of the ones that people find it very, very difficult to make sacrifices. Because they've told themselves it's hard. But just look at your life now. Where have you made sacrifices? Might be in your career, the material things that you have or don't have. And we just wanted to share some actually of our sacrifices that we have made, because it's really, again, so easy to look at perhaps James and my lifestyle and how we look and how we come across and all these sorts of things and just think, oh, well, they haven't really, that was just easy. It's the tip of the iceberg thing. You see the tip of the iceberg, but what you don't see is all the stuff underneath. Everything underneath, all the sacrifices that we've had to make and millions of other people have had to make, that you look and idolise them, but they have all categorically had to make huge sacrifices and choices from over one thing to the other. So, just from my side, actually, this is both of us, isn't it, James? What have we had to sacrifice? Well, in 5 years, we haven't had a holiday.
Not more than a few days. We haven't had it ever as long as a week together. Ironically, in 2020, we did book our first week away. But of course, it never happened.
We booked a holiday to, where was it? Samos in Greece. Booked it, and it was just so, we were feeling a bit burnt out.
I told you it was Samos in Greece. It was Samos Kebab House on the Finchley Road.
It might as well have been. So, we booked that, and we were really excited because we were feeling a little bit burnt out, and it got cancelled because of everything that went on in the world. So, we haven't had a holiday because we have been focusing on building an extraordinary business and a life for ourselves. I sacrificed, in order to get a mortgage on my own, I had to sacrifice continuing to do a job. When I got divorced, I had to sacrifice doing a job that I absolutely loathed. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that is a decision that you all need to take, but that's a really dramatic choice and a sacrifice I had to make. I'm like, do I stay here for as long as I need to until I can get a mortgage? Yes, because that is more important to me.
When I was younger, I sacrificed a conventional career.
You certainly did.
To follow something that I loved, which was being a magazine journalist. And then later on, obviously, Claire and I have both sacrificed security in the setting up and running of our businesses. It would have been easier to stay in London and sit in corporate careers and take a paycheck, but we sacrificed that to set up something that we knew would bring us joy.
And also just the amount of sacrifice we've made. We have made huge sacrifices financially. We have. And, we love our little plaid in London, but it is absolutely tiny. If that was more important to us rather than the business and investing in the business, we would have actually rented a bigger place and actually probably invested in buying a place perhaps, but we haven't. We've ploughed all our money into doing what we love and making a difference in the world. And one other thing, this was a really big one for us. A few years ago, being really vulnerable, our retreats business was all we had, and it was a difficult time. And we actually had 2 investment opportunities. And we really struggled at the time because we were looking at our own finances and how much better that would make our life and how much of a help it would be to have an investor on board. But a little way down the line, we realised it wasn't right. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for where we wanted to take the business. I feel like there would have been some resentment coming up So we delayed gratification, basically. We could have taken that investor, but we delayed gratification and bet on ourselves and decided to go full throttle and not say yes to that, but say yes to the absolute risk and actually a bit of a pickle that we were in at the time.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm actually just remembering an even more recent one, which was with the corona crisis. We could have opted to have furloughed ourselves and abandoned the business.
Because you had to, basically, in order to be furloughed, you had to abandon the business. You couldn't work in your own business. You're not allowed to work
on your business and take furlough. And obviously, with our business at that time being largely retreats, which had just gone out the window, that was tempting. But again, we backed ourselves to actually grow and develop the business as we have. And thank God we did.
Thank goodness we did. So, we just want to talk to you about some of the things that might be showing up that you might be experiencing in your own life. So you might have a goal, you might have a vision for your life and where you want to take it. And that might be with regards to business, material things, your health, your wellness. And here's the thing, what are you sacrificing there? Are you just sitting in front of, one of the main things is like entertainment. What's that about? We all just sit, so many of us just sit and slob out in front of the TV and watch Netflix. Well, here's the thing, you're going to have to sacrifice that. If you want to write a book, if you want to qualify in something, for example, you're going to have to sacrifice those quick fix things that you've been after time and time and time again that don't work in order to get long-term lifestyle changes that, are sustainable and that make you happy and in balance.
Yeah, perceived sacrifices are often linked with excuses, and we see this all the time, I just don't have the time. What that actually means is you're not prepared to make a sacrifice something else in your life that's taking up your time.
Like sitting out on the sofa.
Watching Coronation Street or Netflix. I don't have the money. You're not willing to, budget somewhere else so you can develop yourself. Things like that. So just be aware when you're thinking of sacrifices. Also be aware of is there an excuse behind that, or am I using it as an excuse?
Yeah. Am I going to have to sacrifice comfort and normal? Am I going to have to sacrifice, for example, the approval of others, my partner, my family, what other people think? I might have to sacrifice the approval of others. I might have to sacrifice my own patterns of behaviour that keep me locked in this perpetual cycle, this vicious cycle. I'm going to have to look at that. It's going to be uncomfortable. Am I going to have to forego the Botox, the new handbag, the holiday? Am I going to have to sacrifice those things in order and delay the gratification? Because I can have those again further down the line, but what's more important to me now?
So I'm going to throw another coaching point in.
Ooh.
Think about a goal that you'd like to achieve, but at the moment you're telling yourself the sacrifice is too great, or it's not possible in some way. What's the excuse behind it? I'll just encourage you to have a look at the sacrifice and the excuse.
Exactly. So we're just going to kind of go through a few things that we hear all the time with health and wellness. These are the most common things. I don't have time.
Yeah, I just want to say something before we dive into these. Again, relating to our program, people have this idea or this perception that if they want to move from where they are to a place of better health, better fitness, they're going to have to make these huge sacrifices. It's going to involve hours of grueling workouts each week, really restrictive eating, and it's just simply not true. You can achieve this without making those big sacrifices. This is what underpins everything. So we'll dive into them now.
Yeah, and I think ask yourself as you're listening to, if you're currently in a place where you might have put on some lockdown pounds, where you're not feeling very comfortable in your own skin, where you're looking in the mirror and not really liking what you see, whether you're not necessarily very comfortable with your partner, or actually going out and having a new relationship because you don't feel very comfy in your own skin, like I said, just feeling out of control in this perpetual loop of low energy, low vibe. What I want to ask you is, are you ready to make the necessary sacrifices that come with this? But like James said, they're not massive and they're not huge. It might just mean that you need to sacrifice the lying to get up to do a workout. It might mean you need to sacrifice being the fun Bobby. The one that always drinks...
Good time Bobby.
God, good time Bobby, that's Friends, isn't it? The fun one that always drinks a bottle of wine with a friend. You might need to sacrifice that and the expectation of that from a friend. You know, you might have to sacrifice, like James has alluded to, your own excuses and really look at your patterns of behaviour and what is holding you back. You know, you're going to have to sacrifice elements of your old identity. I was only talking to a coaching client about this morning. You are going to have to sacrifice that old identity and need to embed new behaviour. And, you know, this is going to take time, patience and effort, of course, but the sacrifice is absolutely minute in comparison to the beautiful life that you can have in health, happiness, relationships, everything. So it's like looking at what you are ready to choose now over what's coming.
Yeah, and it's worth saying, you know...
For the glory later.
For the glory of later, but not delaying gratification, because here's the thing, once you start on the journey, you can actually start enjoying the journey. So when we first start making these sacrifices, I'll give a couple of examples, like, you know, getting up half an hour earlier so you can do a workout.
It's going to feel really hard.
Of course that feels really hard. But, you know, we know, because of how we live our lives, and we know from our clients that before long, it's like, actually look forward to getting up and doing that workout.
Because you can see the results.
See the results, and because you feel so energized and so great. It's like, you know, when I used to go out for meals out in a restaurant, I'd be like, well, this is a treat out, so I'm always going to make sure that I leave, you know, don't finish all my main to leave room for dessert, you know, have a whole dessert, you know. Now I'm like, I never order dessert. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore because I've just changed my mindset.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. These all feel like big sacrifices at the beginning, and it starts to feel less like a sacrifice over and over and over again, and more as you start to feel powerful, actually regain power to make those choices. You feel I cannot tell you how good you feel and how proud you feel of yourself when you know something's been a struggle and you have chosen this bit over this bit for the first time potentially in your entire life. The pride you feel when you start getting the results, you actually end up thinking, my goodness, what else am I capable of? I'm starting to realise that anything is possible if I'm just willing to put aside that gratification of right now and move towards this, even though I know it's going to be hard to begin with. I know I'm going to get momentum. I know I'm going to start getting results. I know I'm going to regain my power. That's when it becomes kind of addictive, and you get used to knowing that making little sacrifices at the beginning actually reaps massive rewards and leads you to the road of glory.
Exactly. So another coaching point. The last one, I promise. Like, what could you commit to for the next 30 days? What sacrifice could you commit to that is going to carry you forward towards a goal?
And remember, we're not talking about family. We're not talking about your heart space, and we're not talking about your values. We're not saying anything, but have a look at where you're making your excuses and you're kind of sacrificing in the wrong way. You know, are you sitting on your backside watching Netflix for hours on end? Are you hitting snooze on it's these little things. We don't mean massive sacrifices, but have a look at what you could do in the next 30 days that might feel a bit hard, might feel like a bit of a sacrifice, but will reap massive rewards at the end of those 30 days.
Exactly. And remember, if you would like some support on this and some accountability, then do reach out to us, you know.
Or book that call.
Book a call, just have a chat, and let's take it from there. Yeah,
we are sending you so much love. As always, please join our free Facebook group, the Midlife Mentors Community. Join our YouTube channel, subscribe to that, because we're updating with lots of great midlife workouts in there, body conditioning stuff. We're always putting
a funky resistance band workout up, haven't we?
We did, and we're always putting our coffee mornings up in there where we're answering everyone's questions. So subscribe to that, and please share and review this podcast, because without you guys, we can't get our message of love and support and passion out there. So it's over to you. We're asking for your support there. And we're sending you so much love. Until next week.
Until next week. Bye.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you, so drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.